Welcome back to Beers and Basics. Sparky Coach, Pod here, Crowie.
You leaving me hanging?
I'm coming in
I've
now.
been hanging for like at least 7 seconds.
Cheers. Delicious.
Early twisted palm, tropical pale ale.
Something different, something
Very
fruity.
exotic.
So, running off my celebration of Queensland winning the State of Origin this year, and to a lesser extent, Crowie, your Sharks got up last night.
The Sharks got up last night.
And being the end of financial year too, I think, is that it's probably good to just maybe have a chat around celebrating wins.
Yeah.
Or, little milestones, successes. Because often I think sometimes you get so caught up that you don't stop and just celebrate.
Yeah. So I know what you mean. Sometimes you're so... I guess the manicness of running a business, you're so go, that you really miss the little things along the way that sort of come to you. Whether it's a new client called you
100%,
out of nowhere.
Yep. Or
Whether
a client that you've been chasing.
Yeah.
In particular. Or trying to, been working on, or a builder that you got a referral to through your blank who's a plumber, or the high-rise complex that you've just been knocking on the door with. In customer sense.
Yeah, we had a good chat the other day about gratitude. I guess writing down what you're sort of thankful for, and I guess recognizing the miracles in the mundane, because life and business are pretty. I said to someone one day, if you don't like doing the same thing twice, you're gonna hate life.
Yes.
You get up every morning, you have breakfast,
Yeah.
you play with the kids, you play with the dogs,
Yeah.
you go for a walk, you look after yourself, you eat your steak,
Yeah.
you eat your vegan sausage.
Yeah.
That was not a joke. People love the vegan sausages.
Yeah. Eggplant burger.
So, just I guess taking time to reflect, and maybe reflect on how far you've come.
Yeah.
As a business owner.
Yeah.
Maybe reflect on we talked about this in the car on the way down, but staff.
Yeah. I think celebrate staff is a massive one.
Yeah.
And that can be just a text message, just to say thanks so much for your efforts, because it's recognizing it. It can be face-to-face thanks. It could be grabbing coffee on the way to meeting them on site. It could be taking them to the footy.
So I feel like most people don't thank their staff because they firstly think it's going to cost them $4,000 on a trip to Fiji or a pay rise.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I just don't tell that person they're doing really good, be it admin or field staff, then or if I do tell them, they'll come back at me, oh, so you said I was doing good, so can I get a pay rise?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have to be like that. I think that people want to work for good people. People don't want to work for dickheads.
Yeah.
And don't be too proud or don't be too busy to call out when something goes well. Because don't you reckon as tradies we love to call out the negative?
We always focus on the negative.
Yeah, you love
because
to call
the things, when it goes bad, it's like, oh, geez, they cut the downlight in the wrong spot, or they, damage something, or something like that. It's just the...
Or they put a 25mm hole through the floorboards.
Yeah.
That's a little bit close to home for this week.
We tend to focus on those little bits and pieces, rather than what about all the jobs that went seamlessly and perfect.
Yeah.
What about the fact that everyone, your whole team was at work all week. You know what I mean? They did a great job.
Miracle.
Or even as simple as you being the business owner, you were able to have a couple of days off, or take the Friday off that particular week because the team managed to run the show for you as such, or just do their job.
Yeah.
And that can be simplistically put as like, oh, but they're just doing their job. But like, I think a bit of thankfulness and recognition goes a long way. Particularly with staff on that side of it. So, we've covered off getting a new customer, recognising your staff and thanking them and having a little win. What other things do you reckon come along?
I guess just back to this staff thing, I think you don't have to make it a big deal. Like it can, I think just bringing people coffees is the most underrated thing. Bringing builders coffees, clients coffees. We used to sort of have a rule in the company, if you were stopping for coffee, get the client one as well along the way. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than someone bringing... Is there anything better than someone bringing you a coffee?
Well, I don't drink coffee, so it doesn't really worry me. I love a tea. A tea's nice.
Bring you a tea?
A tea's nice. Hot chocolate.
A hot chocolate.
On a cool
baby chino.
Winter day. Yeah, maybe something like that. Even a sandwich. Something like that.
People
just
like
being
sandwiches.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts, really, at the end of the day. I think is what you're probably trying to get to.
Yeah.
At the core of it.
Yeah. And how do you practice this sort of stuff? Like, it's, if you go, how do you slow yourself down to recognise?
So, I mean, I think there's simple things with putting some steps in place with, it could be a calendar reminder. It could be putting just a block of time in your schedule to allow, some time to sit down and look what has worked well or what has done well. Those two little things have worked the best for me. That like you dedicate some particular time to it, and also to try and just be mindful of it. I try and be mindful of it weekly. I don't always act on it every single week, but I definitely try to be aware that, hey, there's a few things that have gone well. This, and this, and acknowledge it. It might not be acknowledged in the sense of I've written it down or I've spoken to someone, but it can just be mentally acknowledged.
Yeah, and I just think what we said before, if you're going to call out the negatives, which we're so good at doing, you turn up at 7:03, you drop that at that point, you've done this, you've done that. You've got to also celebrate successes, because people will hang around in environments that are positive and encouraging, where they feel like they are rewarded.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be financially. It just be little things. People just want text messages and a bit of love.
Yeah.
A bit of black eyed peas.
Get around.
Yeah.
So I think also so we've covered off on new customers, some staffing. I think also too probably an underrated one that I like to look at is just sending the invoice even. Like, to me, that's a little bit of a win, particularly too if you get into a routine, I find, which is something you and I are quite big on, and we can talk about further, and we've got actual sessions around it that we can focus on.
Big on every invoice was on my desk.
Yeah.
The desk was the cloud.
Yeah.
Every invoice was there ready. I would just look at it from 7 till 8:30 on a Monday morning. Everything was sent by 8:30.
Yep.
No excuses. Just like everyone watching.
So you dedicated the time to
I've been disorganized before.
Yeah.
It's awful, and nothing gets you paid less than not sending invoices.
Yeah.
And nothing causes a stir more than sending something from where you were a month ago.
Yep.
You're just asking for
trouble.
Was Joey really here from that time? Did he really do all that work a month ago? And it just alarm bells.
Yeah.
So yes, organise and being structured. Mm-hmm. So mine were Monday for the week before. What's your invoice?
So obviously, because we do a bit of service and maintenance as well as project stuff, but we basically try to get it out weekly.
Yeah.
So we do stuff. We do send it every single week, but service and maintenance, it can become a daily thing to just get it out once it's been done. But at a minimum, we try to send a lot off on Fridays and Mondays.
You invoice on site?
Yes, we do. Yeah, for a lot of our service and maintenance work, for particularly residential clients. It's not up for a conversation. It's here's the price, and they're made aware of it from the beginning that payment's expected on site.
Yeah.
The boys just take it via. And girls take it via the just an app on the phone.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. But back to clients and being thankful. I think new clients is quite easy to be thankful for, like a new relationship. Oh, I'm so in love, like new relationship. Old relationships,
honeymoon phase,
old flames. Yeah. Old flames.
They're the best, aren't they?
If you've been with anyone for any length of time, I think I'm coming up to 20 years with Elle. You're similar, 15 with Raquel. And you have to be thankful for everything that you're going to call Elodie an old client, but that's probably like a poor choice of words. But don't forget about the clients that have been there. Don't forget about the clients that have been there from the get-go.
The beginning.
So, people give you work, say thanks. Say, hey, we really appreciate you and having you in our corner and having you backing us, and we love working with you.
Yeah.
Just call it out for what it is. Yeah. And this is interesting. We talked about this the other day, but a lot of times you can forget who your best clients are.
Yeah.
So in terms of let the numbers guide you. Mm-hmm. In terms of have a look at who's giving you the most work. Obviously, there's other things that go into that. Who's giving you the most work is important. Who's paying you on time.
But it's
very
also too
important.
not just revenue based as well on that. So it's not just purely the dollars they give you. Look at the number of jobs they give you as well, because you may have a service and maintenance style customer who, if you stack them up against one of your builders in a dollar sense, they're not going to meet it anywhere. But the sheer number, so if you break it down, you might look at them and be like, we're there once a week.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fantastic customer.
Yeah. And there's, I guess, just as we all know, there's so much more money to be made in service and maintenance than projects. So be thankful for those people.
And I think thanking those customers, every couple of months, I normally just do a bit of like a drive around. So I just dedicate a bit of a day or half a day to driving around and just pick off a few customers to go and see. And it's just to say thanks and check in with how they're going. I would say at least 50 to 75% of the contact that you're dealing with there give you work while you're there. Or, hey, while you're here, can you just have a look at this? Or
sorry, I don't carry my tools on me.
Yeah.
Some reason I'm picturing you driving around like in a Commodore, just going, thank you.
Not quite. But
do you carry tools?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Do you? Hand tools?
Yeah, hand tools, yeah. Got all the tools. Got it around the day. Sometimes.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Borrow the client's ladder?
I have done that heaps. Try and carry a 4-footer or a 6 just so that you can access areas to get the quoting done efficiently. But off topic, because Greg doesn't even have a ladder anymore, I think, and the tools are retired, aren't they? They live downstairs somewhere.
They live downstairs, and they come out of retirement occasionally. I made sure I kept a 4, a 6, an 8, and an extension.
There you go.
I was like, you don't need anything more than that.
No, you don't. But it's a really good way of celebrating a win with your customers and saying thanks to them, because it's a joint, it's a party, like you're together, you're working together. But while you're there, look, you're getting work out of it as well. Yeah. And the best client is your existing client every single time. Yeah, the best bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Yeah. Every day of the week. So wherever you're at, I remember one day this renderer got this builder a ham at Christmas. It's like giant, this like offensive hams. Like I never see ham much, and then every Christmas people are just walking around with hams. Yeah, just big. I'm like, where did you even get that from? Like, where does that come from? I don't know where it comes from, but I don't see this in day to day life. Where have you been for 11 and a half months? Where are they January to November? And then all of a sudden, they just appear. Yeah, like pumpkins just appearing in November. And so anyway, what were we saying? Oh yeah. And this builder said to me, he goes, Crowie, Brenda got us a ham, where's my ham? And I was like, you listen to me, mate. I said, where's my ham? I was servicing you all year. Like I made a bit of a joke of it. My old boss was big on that. He just said, he always said, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. You've got to be thankful, but you've got to provide the service. And when you provide the service, you give people an opportunity to keep returning and coming back to you. So you don't have to buy people hams as such, but you can say thanks with a ham. Also, 2 for 1. Thank you. And ham optional. Yeah. So I think another one I like to probably celebrate just as well, particularly being end of financial year at the moment. It's a big time, obviously, in Oz because that's how our financial year runs, July to June. Is that just pause and have a look back and there may be some negative things that have occurred through the year, but don't focus on them, focus on the positives. Or it could be just a half-yearly review even. It doesn't have to be the whole year because, you could be, I don't have the time to do that. But I think at least look back and spend some time and celebrate, how far you've come. You might be your first year in business, it could be your second year in business, it could be your 10th year in business. But I think it's really important to have a look at it. I know for us, we started. I kicked off trading 1st of July. Did you? Yeah, so it's our sort of celebration birthday time. So, how old are you? So we're 6 now. 6. Yeah, so it's our 6th year. So nice. It's exciting to look back on what's occurred over that time, and I think you should celebrate it and sort of be proud of it too as well, of what you've been able to achieve. Because I think if you look back on it all, you would identify certain metrics or milestones, I guess is probably a better word, milestones along the way that you're like, oh wow, I can't believe that's occurred. Or, oh yeah, that was so cool when that happened and we did that particular job and we've been able to springboard or leverage it onto this type of work now. You could have been, like I know one of our builders, we used to do about 50% of their work, and then we were able to prove ourselves on a decent sized job, and we get majority, like pretty much 90 to 100% of their work now, because we were able to instill confidence in them. And I think that's something that you can celebrate.
That's huge. There's always something to celebrate. And I mean, I'm a glass half full kind of person. And I just want to encourage everyone to have a think about, how far you've come, or even like the shortcomings. Nothing teaches you more than a painful lesson.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you're going to go through them as a business owner. You're going to have times where you didn't quite make what you thought, or you lost money on that job, or you lost that staff member through a direct fault of your own, or you ran at the back of a Bentley, or
didn't you drop light fittings or something, or a ladder?
Yeah, no, I had a staff member, he hung a $4,000 light.
That's right. Yeah.
And it fell out of the ceiling. It was installed by those sky hooks.
Yes, yeah. The best.
If I told you how it was installed, do you want me to tell you how it was installed?
Yeah, tell me this.
And okay, it was like 16mm channel direct, like onto like a
suspended ceiling
on a concrete.
Oh, okay.
With gyprock, and he put 35mm blue plugs in there. So the blue plug must have just been hanging. This chandelier, like, I'm the strongest person I know, and I can barely hold it out like this. I'm not that strong, by the way. But you could actually, your arm would be sore holding out like this. It had to weigh like 15 kilos.
15, 20 kilos.
And it smashed on a $13,000 coffee table. So
awesome.
Cool, 17 grand just straight up. So I was super thankful for insurance.
Yes.
At that time, and wherever you're at. Important to have your insurances up to date, because 17 grand's a big hit, and I just bought the guy something straight away. It was super offensive. I actually went to his house the next day. He kind of had to go at me, and then I was like cutting my hands on glass, picking it up, and obviously I didn't do it, and but my company did it, so we took full responsibility, and that's going to happen to you. Hopefully not that, but mistakes happen. And long story short, cleaned it up, paid for the new fittings. Went back and installed it when it happened, time was right, and the guy kept using us. Yeah. So, and
we're all human, mistakes happen.
A mistake is a great way to put your hand up, and people need to know how you're going to respond in the hard times. Yeah. I feel. So it's like, if the hard times come and you prove your character is of substance and worth, then that's who you want to be around. Yeah. You want to be around people that lift with them in a hard time. So any mistake, see as opportunity to put your hand up and be like, guilty as charged with the mistakes. Definitely. We'll fix it, but and we'll dedicate the time, energy, effort to fix it. That's important. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
That's all right.
That was good. that was good.
Do you need to lie down? Do you want to sit on a chair?
I might need a couple more beers.
So I think, sort of to summarise it all or wrap it up, I think my advice or sort of tip would be to just spend some time and have a look back, or have a look at how things are going, and just be thankful for a few things and celebrate something that you feel is important to you. And there's a lot of things within business that it could be, the fact that you're taking a half day on Friday now, or you're able to play golf, or you can go for a surf in the morning. But I think the most important one is probably thank your customers, particularly your better ones. And if you've got staff, give them a shout out too. Because without staff and without customers, it's very hard to have a business.
Can't have a business. No. Not a trade business.
No.
But yeah, I guess my advice is to be present. And so often, I think that's what the tradie world is lacking. Yeah. Like, someone to be present, because anyone can be manic, stressed out, not answer the phone and leave it. But when you're present and you're on a job site, you are looking for things, you're looking to build relationships and connections with people and future clients and customers. You're looking for people to encourage, you're looking for people to work with, and people want to work with someone who's a good team player. And if you can show your staff members how to play as a team, and if you can show your staff members how to encourage and how to think outside the box and how to be a problem solver, like, you're a professional problem solver. But let's just, and the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. That's the rule. So it's like, the problems and the clients aren't the issues. Just get it done, solve it, and think outside the box, and be present. But if you see something negative, yeah, you can call it out. I think that's important in a really positive way.
Yeah.
But if you see something positive, call that out too.
Yeah.
So if someone pays their invoice on time, thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
Because it really matters. And if the clients know what matters to us, then they can start to do what matters to us more because they know what matters to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important. So in signing out, the glass is always half full. That's my sign out.
True.
To us.
Cheers.
See you guys.